There were press conferences at Notre Dame this week, including Notre Dame athletic trainer Rob Hunt, who gave an update, big updates for the health of Notre Dame's football players ahead of spring. Dive into that with Jack Sobel, who was in the room for these press conferences. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. And of course, head over to blueandgold.com website for much more intel on what was said, as well as recruiting updates. So, Jack, let's go to maybe one of the top headlines to come out of this. More just confirmation of what we had already known, but good to hear it from the Notre Dame side of things officially. Tweet from Tyler Horka, Notre Dame athletic trainer Rob Hunt says quarterback CJ Carr will be a full participant in Fighting Irish spring practices after dealing with an elbow injury, completely recovered. Again, expected, but really good news here, Jack.
Yeah, again, it was expected. We did get some details that I think we didn't really have, or didn't have it as concrete as we had before from Rob Hunt. And as a side note, like, I'd honestly never seen a program bring out its athletic trainer and just give all the information about injuries. That was very much appreciated. And I think a lot of Notre Dame fans will appreciate that too, because we got basically every piece of info we could have, like the up-to-date detailed info on every existing injury, which will save time at Marcus Freeman's press conference at the start of spring ball. And obviously one of the pieces we got was CJ Carr. Rob Hunt said it was a 10 to 12 week rehab process after he got injured in practice, and I want to say late September, around that time. And he said Carr executed it really well. It was a slow, intentional process. I think they knew, as Marcus Freeman said at the time, that they could afford to be very slow with it, because obviously CJ Carr wasn't starting. If he was the starting quarterback, they might have rushed his progress a little bit more. But I think they just wanted to be slow and cautious. So there was a period of rest. Rob Hunt said there was a period of light work and training, and then he went into a throwing program. Right now, though, he's 100%, and he will be good to go for spring ball.
Yeah, we were talking as a staff before. I kind of thought it would be a lot of fluff and about like the process of different things. To have like cold hard updates, I was surprised as well, for what it's worth. Let's go to Notre Dame releasing. Let's talk about some more specific things. You got a group of fully returned players from injuries and a group from modified activity. Of course, you guys watching can see that. But Jack, some takeaways here, some extra notes.
Yeah, the biggest note besides Carr and the fully returned group, I think we all basically knew that Jabron Payne, Styles Prescott, Tabron Benny Powell, who missed the entire 2024 season with a knee and I think a couple of shoulders with Prescott and Benny Powell. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But Carr was notable. Jason Onye, notable. He missed the back end of the 2024 season, I think from early October on with a personal matter. And obviously great to hear that he is back with the team. He participated in winter workouts. Last we heard before this that there were still a couple of hurdles for him to clear to fully rejoin the team, but those hurdles have been cleared. And as of now, he is a full participating member, which is obviously good for Notre Dame. They need as many defensive linemen as they can get. And Anya was someone they obviously liked as a rotational guy the past couple of years. Notes from the modified activity group. We learned that Anthony Knapp had surgery on his ankle a couple days after the Orange Bowl, and he is progressing nicely, Rob Hunt said, but just kind of give and take in terms of how much work he gets. He said it'll progress over the next 3 to 4 weeks and kind of build up the intensity and volume. Billy Schrouth, he's going to have a procedure on one of his ankles, and he said it'll happen next week during spring break. He participated in the majority of the winter program, but they will just do a little bit of maintenance to make sure he's good to go. So he'll kind of be touch and go during spring ball as well. And the other significant update was Will Pauling.
Yeah,
they found a stress injury in his foot, which is obviously you never want to hear that, but the update from Rob Hunt seemed optimistic that he can do some football activity and drill work early in spring ball. And Pauling's absence is not absence, but limited activity is a little significant, because all of a sudden you got Malachi Fields, who's not gonna be there in the spring. He's enrolling in the summer. Jordan Faison's playing lacrosse. Will Pauling touch and go for a little bit, and Jaden Greathouse, who we'll talk about in a couple minutes, limited due to CFP activity. So all of a sudden you got probably your top 4 receivers either limited or not participating in spring ball, and obviously you want to build that chemistry with whoever the quarterback ends up being.
Talked about this the other day with Tim Hyde, because I had been hearing about this individualized plan and modified activity. I've been hearing about this. It's like, how do you have a quarterback battle in the spring between
Yeah.
3 guys with your top receivers out? Emil Wagner's going to have an individualized plan, excuse me. Jaden Greathouse, Jeremiyah Love. It's like, man, that's going to be very, very interesting. So just real quick, Jack, maybe 10 seconds on this, the difference between modified activity and individualized plans.
So the group you have on your screen are players who are not hurt.
Okay, so they're just
So
resting.
the modified activity is injury related. This group is players who are not hurt. And if they were not hurt, Billy Schrauth and Anthony Knapp would have been in this group. But who just played a lot of snaps over the regular season and the CFP and are just kind of taking it slow. Obviously, Notre Dame knows what they have in the vast majority of these guys. They don't need
Right.
spring ball as much as some of the rest of them. You could argue guys like Bryce Young, Christian Gray, who is a little inconsistent over the back end of the season. Jalen Sneed, who still needs to take a couple steps, but like most of these guys, like their rest and recovery is probably more important than the reps they would get in spring ball. Plus, I mean, they got so many extra practice reps over the course of competing for a national championship. I think like there was someone on our board who was like, man, that sucks that 20% of the roster is either limited out or individualized plans in spring ball. And I'm like, well, the easy solution there is not competing for a national championship, because in the year 2025, that is the small price you have to pay for that. But no surprises on that list. Like,
Sure.
obviously Jeremiyah Love, you're probably not going to see a lot from him in spring ball. These guys, like, the point of the message that Rob Hunt said was like, don't panic if you see these guys like on an exercise bike, or we report that they're not doing drills, or they're on the sideline during the team portion. What they do or don't do is going to depend on each guy. That's what kind of what they mean by individualized plans. Like the sports science department, they can track like how many collision events you have on a given snap, or how many times you undergo a sprint effort. Is a couple of the terms that the sports science director John Waggle, who we also talked to, used. But you don't really need to know the details of why everyone is doing what they're doing or not doing. But the gist of it is, if we tell you that Jaden Greathouse didn't practice today, don't panic. He's not hurt. This is just all part of the plan.
So going back to what I said earlier about we were kind of out surprised about all these specific updates. I guess that's why, because they don't want media to go to practice
Yes.
and say, hey, Jaden Greathouse didn't practice today. It's like, okay, here's why, because he's on this list of the individualized plan. So lastly, following Notre Dame players are out for spring practice, as you tweeted. As I look at this, I mean, no surprises. I mean, I personally didn't know Davion Dixon would be out for the spring. I mean, it's a true freshman nose guard, but Jalen Stroman, did we know about his injury going into
No,
this?
I don't believe we did. So Jalen Stroman, he missed the 2024 season. All but one game. He got injured in week 1 against Vanderbilt with a broken clavicle. That being the collarbone. From Notre Dame perspective, KK Smith dealt with a similar injury. But and by all accounts, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we believe that is why he's at Notre Dame this year and not in the NFL. That he had a really good 2023 and was expected to be like a day 2 or 3 pick with another good season, but obviously didn't get a chance to have that season. But Rob Hunt said he was similar to Will Pauling. When guys transfer in, they give him a physical exam, similar to like an NFL free agent signing. They have to pass a physical first. They found that his clavicle fracture didn't heal properly, or didn't heal all the way. So they had to take care of that, is the phrase used, which I assume means have a small surgery when Stroman got to campus. So he'll do a little bit of moving around, but no contact whatsoever for Stroman during spring ball. The rest of it, not a huge surprise. Davion Dixon, we did not know about, but he suffered an injury last week that's going to require surgery, pec tendon repair.
Okay.
So full summer of participation for him. The full summer of participation is a phrase that Rob Hunt used for a lot of these guys. Like Jordan Botelho said he ruptured his patellar tendon against Purdue. Obviously a devastating injury for him, but one that allowed him to come back for a 6th year at Notre Dame. Hunt said Botelho is progressing very well. About 5.5 months post-op. Hunt said he's absolutely killing it. The rehab and return to play process, looking for an unrestricted summer there. Same thing with Ashton Craig, who tore his ACL on the same day. progressing nicely. Boubacar Traore, ACL and LCL against Louisville, on another one of those devastating non-contact knee injuries. Hunt said he's super encouraged by his progress. Got to build more strength, but doing very nicely. Set up for an unrestricted summer. What does unrestricted summer mean? My impression is just like can do all the things 100% healthy players can do during summer workouts. Doesn't necessarily mean the vibe I get is it doesn't necessarily mean they'll be full go for fall camp, but certainly trending in the right direction for that.
Great stuff in this video, folks. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on it, and we will catch you guys next time.